Okay. So yeah, let's start the Dasharo community release roadmap. Yeah, can we start, Staszek? Yeah. Okay. Um, so the point of this presentation is to consider what feature set is provided in released binaries, and of course, like I like this picture. On the road to success, there are no shortcuts, and of course, someone took shortcut, and we see what's going on. I guess like we're trying to juggle with multiple releases, with multiple platforms. Our lab is already crowded with various platforms, and because of that, I would not bet any money on any position that I publish here. So please note that all stuff that I'm saying in the Dasharo roadmap is subject to change, and you will see how many changes I introduced this time. So it's just informational. It's just about raising attention that we're looking at these platforms and maybe considering delivering something, and in what form we will deliver. I also changing format of this presentation a little bit because at the point where the release really happened, I will discuss technical features which are delivered with the given release, just to let you know, so you are better informed, and someone who's watching that on YouTube in future, for example, would be better informed. Okay, what kind of features that Dasharo have? So yeah, so let's go with that. So this is just information that if you don't know how this presentation look like and what's the flow of this presentation, you can look at the past presentation. There are links here, and if you go to the GitHub Dasharo issues and to issues milestones, you will find the list of milestones, and you can track them there. What's the progress of given milestone? All the roadmaps which I present here should be reflected on GitHub. In case of naming, because this is like I have to repeat that because like not always we also made mistakes in the past giving wrong naming, but right now we're sticking to this for quite some time. I guess it's already 3 quarters where we're trying to push this new naming convention. So the Dasharo naming look as follows. Like as a first, we're saying Dasharo, and then we're saying like a base framework. It could be core boot, it could be UFI. In future, it could be other framework. I don't know, U-boot, like maybe others, maybe some ORBoot or I don't know, Wolfboot. Then there is a payload, like a secondary component of the firmware. And in case of core boot, it could be UFI payload, it could be heads payload, CBIOS. In case of UFI, it is typically zero. There is no payload. There may be some additional binaries like iPXE added, but we don't integrate that in this name. And then we adding customer type. So I see that most people care about pro package. Enterprise package is kind of not interested for this crowd mostly, but in case of communication with the commercial customers, we're using enterprise instead of pro. And there is package for and then given market, and we essentially targeting 6 markets. Emulation market, this is essentially cloud, you can say cloud market or virtual firmware market. And right now we're mostly using that for our validation purposes. I will tell you a little bit about that. But I hope that the future is the future of confidential computing. Consider open source firmware as a serious value, and that's why I see that firmware for VMs is something that could help Dasharo grow, and we definitely would like to be in that niche also. Then we have network appliance, of course, like firewalls, all the embedded platforms, laptops, desktops, workstations, and servers. The last two, I essentially not have much to say, so I don't present those roadmaps because like those roadmaps are empty right now. So for example, we could say like Dasharo Core Boot plus UEFI Pro package for desktop. Yeah, so it means that is some, and typically this is. So if it is for desktop, then we have some desktop platforms which are supported. We could replace desktop and say for MSI Z690A, for example, or something like that. same with other examples here. If you want to know more about the naming convention and the changes regarding that, feel free to see at the issue 762 on Dasharo issues. Okay, this example shows how roadmaps are presented. So if you look here, first we have like a Dasharo with saying, let me try to show some arrow. Can I draw? Oh, we see some segment, then we have vendor, and then we have some model roadmap. And there are various components here. You see that this is like a one release. So this is core boot plus UFI version 0.90, and we planned that in year 2024 Q4 there will be some validation, and in Q1 there will be Dasharo Pro package release. So this means that there will be paid release that you can obtain from our shop, but it also means that the open source code will be available on Dasharo core boot fork, and you can essentially get the source code, compile yourself, and you don't have to pay. And the same for the others. This is maybe what's different in this one, in the core boot plus heads, is like that you can see that there is release candidate. So that means you essentially can download somewhere the release candidate. I typically, in that case, just provide in this presentation where this release candidate can be downloaded as a binary. And community release means that this is not Dasharo Pro package, but we immediately going with the binaries to the Dasharo website, and you can download things there. Okay, so I guess that's it. I wanted to say one more thing. So there are two sources of kind of sponsoring or funding the Dasharo development. First is Dasharo Support Package, which is annual multi-year contract with OEMs, which leads to providing free beer releases in unlimited amount. Of course, if the OEM who's paying the Dasharo Support Package contract wants these releases, because that's up to them to decide how many releases with what content we publish. And then there is Dasharo community releases, which are supported from other sources, like from donations, from grants, from Dasharo revenue sharing program. So this is program when other vendors selling hardware with Dasharo, and essentially there is split of the revenue between us and them. And there are other things like Dasharo Pro package, which you're buying from us. And that money essentially sponsor the Dasharo community releases. So in this presentation, despite I showing statistics for all binaries, I only discussed the roadmap for Dasharo community releases. Okay, so looking at the Dasharo support package releases, so this paid by the contract versus Dasharo community releases, those paid from margins or from donations or from other sources, which are going to various, I guess, to various platforms. This is how it looks like. So I would say we cannot be very proud of last 2 quarters because like it's like 4 releases in Q3 and 4 releases in Q4. Q4 is not end yet, and I guess we have at least 3 more releases in QE. This is Odroid, PC Engines, and Dell Optiplex. Maybe QEMU, maybe 4, but you know, this is all. Everyone wants to go to spend Christmas with family, and not everyone wants to sit whole night doing open source firmware hacking. But some will do, and we will see how those who will stay and hack over the vacation holiday season and how much they can deliver. The average number of releases per quarter was like dropping because it was over 6, but right now it's like 5.78 release per quarter. So like it's around 6. Totally since quarter 3 21, we did 81 releases, like which are public. I don't know if this is a lot, if this is not a lot, but my dream would be to have to double that or triple that number, yeah, in terms of, so it would be great if we'll have like 12 or 18 releases per quarter. That would be my kind of dream goal. looking at year by year, in 2021 we had 10 releases, in 2022 we got 30, in 2023 we had 16, and in this year we get 24, and it's not end of the year, so we probably will end up in 27, so which is not bad year. That means that it would be second best year over last 4 years of delivering Dasharo to you. If we look at the split between the market segments, we see that last quarter we split it between laptop and network appliance, although those were Protecti and Nova Custom, so like it depends if you have those devices. And then this quarter it was laptop, also Nova Custom, and desktop. So recently we published MSI releases, and about those I will talk in details on further slides. Regarding the changing of the roadmap status, this is kind of my statistic: how much I remove, how much I really release, how many platforms are, how many positions are on track, how many were changed. So you see that there is like a 40% chance that something will change on the roadmap. So I don't know, like maybe this is not bad, maybe this is good. Of course, this should be much smaller. The release number should be much bigger, and I don't know about removed one, but on track would be also to have it as big as possible. But essentially, you see that there is also around 25% chance that we will add new platform. So yeah, this is how it looks like. Okay, let's go to the releases. First release that I would like to announce, the new one. I told that there will be nothing new on emulation roadmap, but this time I'm changing my mind. We have to deliver something on emulation roadmap, and it would be this weirdly versioned QEMU. I don't know if the version will stay like that, because it depends on, I guess, on Maciej and others if they will agree to version it like that. But essentially, this would be Dasharo Core Boot plus CBIOS based on the PC Engine's code. It would include sort boot order. It's like a payload which gives you options over the serial. And we essentially need that release to make CI/CD validate Core Boot plus CBIOS releases. So release candidate is already available, and you can download it. I will show you on the next page where to download. But anyway, that's the goal. I hope to release that binary for community. I don't know if you can have any use of that, but yeah, that's what we want to do. So yeah, so this is the releases. You essentially going to Dasharo/Dasharo PQ, and then there are releases. This is a pre-release RC1. And yeah, and I already told you that we're doing that for the validation purposes. So here is how you get it. You're just going here to Dasharo PQ, then actions, and then yeah, then you can download binaries here. Of course, the one on the previous slide is RC1, and if you go to actions, you can get the newer one. And also if you're looking for kind of RC versions, free RC versions of the Dasharo PC Engine's Core Boot plus CBIOS, you can also download that here. But please note that this is not tested, and I'm not sure what quality it is, because yeah, this is not tested. Okay, about PC Engines. So PC Engines, yeah, I guess yesterday I get information that there will be no 2411, because there will be no Core Boot 2411. So that one will be called 2412. And I think I will not manage to release that in Q4 as it is on the slide, but I will do this in Q1. I get this information, I guess, today or yesterday, and I didn't have time to fix this slide. But anyway, by the end of this year, I plan to deliver. We plan to deliver 2408, 0001 as a Dasharo Pro package release. Yeah, and yeah, and this should there will be no functional changes, but there should be better coverage in testing, because we want to switch to the open source firmware validation, to new validation framework that we're using for all the other platforms, and PC Engines use an old validation framework kind of, which is like behind closed doors in our lab. But that one is like getting old, and we have to move on to the new code base. Then Protectly is just like the goal here was to deliver the tech preview release, which contains support for anti-evil mail. So this is also a Dasharo Pro package release based on Coreboot plus CBIOS. So my goal is to have it in Q1. I still don't know if this is reasonable. Still looking at what kind of issues we may have with it. Milestone is available on GitHub. So stay tuned if you are interested about Protectly firewall or desktop device with trench boot with DRTM security feature. Then yeah, please consider supporting us in this. Then Minoport Turbo. This one is cancelled, and why it is cancelled? Like we essentially faced in issue 1000, like so it was our 1000 issue, so it's a numerological sign. We faced some soft logs, and Michik suspect that this could be issue with C6 states and C6 DRAM, yeah, which ought to be reserved for it. So it is interesting that 411 does not have this problem. So I guess like why we see this is that we switched from the FSP memory initialization to the MRC binary initialization, and that's part of the reason. This is old platform. This is Intel Bay Trail, extremely old stuff. But on the other side, there are companies who still rely on this hardware. So if someone knows these companies that they need some fixes, they need some improvements, we were able to rebase that code to the 2402 core boot, 240201 core boot. There is a branch, and if we will have additional resources, we will probably fix the bug and do the release for Intel Bay Trail. For now, we're removing that because we just essentially lack of resources for such development. Regarding hard kernel Odroid H4 Plus, we still didn't release the binaries because like we were very busy with MSI, with Nova Custom, with Protectly, and with hardware IO trainings. So that's why everything is delayed. Platform is like source code is essentially ready for release, ready for validation. We just have to get through the validation cycle, which is always time consuming and painful. But if we want to confirm that the features that we gave on the changelog, on the release notes are working, then of course we have to validate that, and there is no everything have to be transparent here, and results have to be delivered. We just cannot just assume this works and just ship it. Yeah, so I think it will happen by the end of year. That's my hope. And right now we have 09 RC3 available. So if you are brave enough to try it, please take it and flash it and let us know if you have any issues. We plan a couple releases for Nova Custom, but this is not Nova Custom under Dasharo support package. So this is not Dasharo Core Boot plus UEFI, but Dasharo Core Boot plus Heads and Dasharo Core Boot plus CBIOS. So those couple releases are, first one is inline, is Core Boot plus Heads for the V56 series. So this is this one. And yeah, and I guess the plan is to deliver it by end of quarter, but there are still some roadblocks, and to be honest, I cannot guarantee this will be delivered by end of this quarter. We're still discussing. We just discovered that S3 is supported, or at least working and not breaking things easily. But the question is if that's enough to if that's okay to release, if there are not some hidden bugs there, because Intel does not support S3, but this Meteor Lake based laptop works with S3. So yeah, so the question is like if we will keeping that we will not introduce other issues, But on the other side, if it supports S3, then it can be CubesOS certified. So that's good thing. But yeah, if this will not happen because of other like issues in release process, we will shift it to the Q1, and then for sure we will deliver. Our next priority is our next priority is 092, and yeah, and this is like this is considered as a next release for heads. This is for NV41, and yeah, and I guess like following the V56, we will probably deliver this one. And then there is also tech preview release with Trench Boot. This was demoed already on I guess this was on where it was demoed. It was demoed on CubeSys Summit. I'm sorry, and then the question is like we just have to validate it and just ship it and deliver it as a Dasharo Pro package release. Okay. Okay, Optiplex. So Optiplex, like I guess it's very old platform. It's third generation Intel, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we're looking for enabling Trench Boot on it. But this platform essentially faced the same issues as PC engines. So we lack the validation, comprehensive validation for Core Boot plus CBIOS. And right now we're working on enabling that. So the goal is if we can enable for Dell Optiplex, or we can enable for PC engines or for QEMU, then we probably can speed up the release and deliver that in this quarter. So that's our focus right now, to enable Core Boot plus CBIOS testing. Okay, regarding MSI, we just released the Dasharo Pro package. Last time I told you that we're considering combining Dasharo Pro package release with Dasharo community release. We decide not doing that for one more quarter, and then probably the community release will be published Q1. And I think that it's like it should be final date, unless we really will be concentrated by other events. There is a lot of stuff going on in background, but if we will not do the community release, then we probably then it would mean that that we will have like very good reasons and we will show something cool on the roadmap as a return. I know that this is not good for all people that waiting for free and open accessible MSI Pro Dasharo, but there is substitute for that. You can always try to download not validated version, like from some pull request from the CI/CD, and then like I guess like it's very high chance that it will work without major issues. Of course, you're not getting support; you're getting just community support, so it's up to you. But with the community release, you're also getting only community support, so the same thing. So I guess there is a replacement for that if you want to risk. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so let me. This is the same situation with Z790p. So I will not just dive deep into that. So what I wanted to say to you, I didn't left for myself enough time, but before going too deep into details, I really recommend reading the recent blog post from Sergey Dimitruk. The blog post is of course on 3MDEP website. It's about UEFI capsule update that we introduced it into Core Boot ecosystem. We're trying to upstream it right now. The first release with contains support for capsule update is Z690 and Z790. And we're looking for integrating that to other boards. I know that probably Nova Custom already planning integrating that. What is cool about this is that that the update process will work without disabling the protection mechanism. So you don't have to disable anything in BIOS to make an update. You just essentially load the capsule into the memory, reboot the platform, and then firmware picking up the capsule for flashing. The detailed process is described in the documentation in the Dasharo universe, so you can find more information there or in the blog post. So what other value? So first of all, like the process is validated if underlying hardware is supported, so it will like automatically refuse. So it's not like bare flash ROM. Bare flash ROM like will flash whatever you provide. So you can make mistakes. In this case, it will always check. Of course, DTS also checking. So this is not upgrade over DTS, but on the other side. The enabling of LVFS FWPD is a big thing here. The user data and configuration is preserved, and since updates applied at early stage of the boot process, then those various protection mechanisms are not enabled yet, and we can firmware can do what it wants to do. Of course, before doing anything, it checks the signatures, and if the firmware is cryptographically sound. Yeah. So yeah, please read the blog post about this one. The other feature that was introduced is CPU configuration page. When you're getting a possibility of configuring a number of active P cores and active E cores. So as you know, on hybrid CPUs like Intel 12, 13, 14 generation, you can choose how many performance cores, so P cores, are active, and by default all P cores are enabled, but you can reduce the count by disabling some P cores. Of course, at least one must remain active if any P cores are present. Similar situation is with E cores. You can adjust number of E cores, so efficient cores, and default of also is that all are active, but you can reduce them, and this will disable E cores at the BIOS level. There is also option for hyper threading, and you can so P cores use hyper threading, and you essentially can disable, and that will end up with leaving just one thread per P core. And then of course this helps in power efficiency and probably can limit some speculative execution issues. Okay, so this is slide with CPU configuration. This is another screen of the eCores configuration. I wanted to tell you a little bit about the EDK2 update. I think this is huge. I think this is not getting enough press, enough attention. So we essentially switched Dasharo from very old EDK2 fork, which was based on EDK2 stable 2020-02 to EDK2 stable 2024-02. So it's essentially shift of EDK2 for 4 years. Like we just jumped 4 years, which in this case covers like 1 million lines of code. Yeah. So yeah, I know it's a lot. They probably could introduce some issues, but on the other side, they also introduced a lot of bug fixes. So I just quickly tried to skim through list, but this list is huge. Like when I look at the Bugzilla, we have like over 1,000 various Bugzilla tickets in this scope. And if you can see that there is also some heap buffer overflow in the TPM, in the TCG measured boot related stuff fixed. There is also OpenSSL update, which is related with all crypto operation by the UEFI payload. Then there is also stuff related with not compliant UEFI secure boot behavior. There are XHCI, so USB fixes. There are a lot of coverity scan fixes, which are typically potential security issues. There is new ACPI compliance. So I really recommend diving into this in the release notes of MSI and see what's going on. And I guess all the newest releases of Dasharo will benefit from this huge update. So congratulations to the development team for delivering this big stuff. Of course, capsule update is also big stuff, no question about it. CPU configuration was requested so many times that probably many of you also will value that. But I think this EDK2 update is also big thing. And TPM usage, this is probably one of the last things that I want to say. This was a bug reported by Michik, that there is this problem of coreboot just supporting one TPM, even if the platform contain multiple. And then there is no way of there is only compile time method of choosing one. So this was changed. We introduced this fix. There is ability to choose which TPM is used. First priority is always for TPM 2.0, and then if it is not available, then TPM 1.2 is used. It is also related to the to the fact that if a management engine is hub disabled or not, because if it's not disabled, the FTPM is exposed, and of course, based on that, you may want or don't want certain behavior. And thanks to this feature, we could handle it better. Yeah. Regarding the heads for MSI, there is no new plans right now. We're still thinking, but definitely in 2025 there will be at least one release. But right now I don't know when precisely. And I guess that's it for this segment. And we can switch to the, I guess, to shameless plug right now. Yeah.